Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to Father and Daughter Series. Let me explain. Last year my father and I, who's Komi Afetse and who is also a captain in the U.S Army, we came up with this idea about doing videos where we talk about army related civilian or anything that can be benefits to everyone. So the first episode was filmed last year, but it's on his YouTube channel. I will leave the link down below so you guys, if you want, you can go ahead and check it out. And I'm pretty sure that you guys will learn something from it. Now back to this episode. This will be episode 2, which will be posted on my channel. In this episode we talk about, well, he basically explained the difference between a National Guard, Reserve, and active duty. We thought maybe people who are interested in joining but don't know the difference between those two, and I hope that it will clarify anything that you might be wondering about. And also, yes, we talk about other things, but I will leave that to you guys to find out.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Father and Daughter Series. In this episode, we are going to talk about the differences and the similarity between Army, active duty Army, Army Reserve, and National Guard. Very often people have a confusion about what is it like to be in active duty or either Army Reserve and National Guard. So we're going to discuss this topic so we can inform people who are trying to join and try to understand what are the different branches of the Army that they can join and serve. First of all, I would like to say Happy New Year. Is month number 2 already in 2023. So I hope you have your goal set for this year and that you will do everything possible to go after them. So without further ado, I am Captain Komi Afetse. I'm a civil affairs officer currently serving in Vicenza, Italy. And on the other side of the screen, as my own daughter, Specialist Afetse, Sarah, stationed in Alaska. Sarah, go ahead and introduce again yourself to our viewers and few words.
Hi everybody, I am Specialist Afetse. I am a 92 Alpha Logistic. And so without wasting any time, we are going to right into it. So Captain Afetse, the first question is, can you describe your job just a little bit so people can have an idea?
So my current assignment here, without saying much detail, I am exercise planner at the CTAF level. CTAF is a 2-star level command. So we all work for 2-star general. And a lieutenant colonel, but my assignment is to plan exercises. And in this command, there are 2 major exercises that we do with our African partners. So the biggest exercise is African Lion. So something that many U.S. troops come down every year, and then we go to either Morocco, Tunisia, Senegal, Ghana, and train with our partner. And then the second biggest exercise is Justify a Core, which we do with our partner, Kenyan partners, Uganda partners, and other African countries. So we do this exercise every year. And my main job is to go to all the planning events. That's why I travel so much. I go to different planning events. So I represent my office, which is civil military operations. So when I go to these exercises, my job is to make sure that we are represented as a section, that we have a plan about how we're going to train, our task, how we're going to go after, what is important to our big boss. So I go to different places, and the calendar usually is like 9 months. So I go to different planning events all throughout the either Europe and Africa, and then usually the exercise happen in the summertime. I would say for African Lion, it's going to be June, July this year, and Justify a Core is happening right now in Kenya. So I do a lot of meetings and getting people together or coordination and talking to different people and see how we can have a civilian aspect look at in every battlefield or every major operation. So my job is to go there and represent the civil military operation, and then work all the detail later on for the unit who's going to execute. So yeah, I do a lot of event, like I already said. So basically, that's in nutshell my job.
Sounds nice to have the chance to go to different places. That's good. So as you mentioned before, people have active duty, reserve, national guard all mixed up. So can you currently, what are you? And can you tell the difference between those?
Okay, so the basic difference is if somebody say I'm on active duty, that means 24/7 they are Army. They go to Army, they wake up Monday through Sunday, they're Army. Monday to Friday, they go to their job, just like you right now. You're on active duty.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
Monday you go to work, Tuesday, Wednesday, all the way to Friday. And then Saturday, Sunday, sometimes you can even be on duty or watch call or whatever. But you Army 24/7. And doing that, the Army pay you full salary, meaning the specialist rank, they pay you based on that. So that's full time. So active duty in a nutshell. Now, somebody say I'm a reservist. Reservist means you are also a trained soldier. Usually reservist and active duty Army goes to the same training.
Yeah, we did.
Yes, active duty goes to the same training as a reservist and National Guard, actually. So after your training, reservists will go back home. National Guard also will go back home. So National Guard and reservists are similar. However, National Guard belong to the state. So the governor is the commander-in-chief number one before the president. The president is everybody's commander-in-chief. But for National Guard, the governor can call National Guard for disaster, emergency in the state, like when you have a hurricane, when you have a tornado, they usually call National Guard. So if you are Maryland National Guard, you belong to the state. If there is an emergency in the state, they call you. If you are Colorado National Guard, they call you. If you are, on the other side, reservist is, your commander-in-chief directive is the president also. Is the way reserve and National Guard are similar is it is a part-time Army. So you have 2 days a month to do your training, 1 weekend a month to do your training. And then one summer, you do 2 weeks or 3 weeks, depending on your unit. You go somewhere, you do your annual training. To have a National Guard or reserve career, you need to have a good civilian career. So in this case, some people could be school teachers and they serve in National Guard. They could be police officer, they serve in the reserve. It could be anything. So in my case, I work for Department of Defense as IT or database system engineer. So at the Pentagon, but I'm a reservist and I can come on orders to do active duty orders time to time. So for instance, my current assignment, I was assigned to come to Italy based on orders for 2 years to come do this job. So I personally say the reserve is the best kept secret in the Army because you have the luxury to come on orders if your job, your MOS or your branch is needed to go do 6 months, 9 months, 1 year, depend, and then you go back to your civilian life. So right now, once I'm done here, unless there is another opportunity to do another set of orders, I can just go back to my civilian job at the Pentagon as a database, system engineer. So that's the difference. It's like it's a part-time versus full-time. Part-time, you still have to have your civilian career, but you have to keep up all your Army training, all your Army stuff. And the other side, active duty, you are paid full salary, but you work there Monday to Friday, and you always Army. Me, as a reservist, I can go back and relax a little bit. And then, I know some people who sometimes, as a reservist, they might go there for a couple months or for a couple weeks. And then when the reserve time is up, they will shave it and then just, go do the drill and come back. So there is a flexibility, but the critical thing is on if you are a National Guard or the reserve, you need to keep a good civilian job that pays you well, because the army is not paying you full salary. So that's the difference. So right now, I am a reservist and I'm on order, and I love it because I can come on orders, serve 2 years, 3 years, whatever years, and then I'll be like, oops, I think I'm gonna go back to my civilian life. Then I will go, and then I will come back, and so I personally, like I said earlier, is the best kept secret. Not because that I am, but it gives you flexibility. But you need to sustain yourself, and you need a job on the civilian side to make sure that you're taking care of your family, your bills, and everything like that.
Okay, that's good. It's clear now. Even for me, I know that like Reserve and National Guard, all I knew was like the part-time. Well, I didn't know like there was much more to it then. So, and I hope that will clarify for other people who are also interested in.
So to give you something also, I personally say, if you are a young person and you want to join the army and you don't have any civilian job, you don't have any training, you don't have any college degree, I would say go active duty for the first 3 years. So at least you get used to the army life, and then it give you time to prepare. Like you can take classes while you're on active duty, so you can prepare yourself to come back as a reservist. Reservists have a many opportunity, or National Guard, they have different opportunities. But if you don't have a full-time job to pay your bills, sometimes being a reservist is challenging, because I've seen reservists struggle because they don't have any other way of earning money, So if you are a young person, or you are someone, you want to earn full salary, I would say definitely go active duty, because when you go, the army pay you full, full everything, full payment, and then you can live your life, and then plan now to come back gradually and become a reservist and go off and on.
It makes sense. It makes sense. So going to the second question. So how did you imagine military life before you joined? Did you have did your perspective change after joining? Because we know you might have heard some information, some might be true, some might not be true, but how did that play out?
So I think I mentioned in our first episode that I joined the army so I can get citizenship, and then
yeah, you did.
They go to college. Those were my two motivation factors. So to be honest, before joining the army, I have no idea what the army life is. I have no idea, but I just remember back in 2010 when I joined, people would say, "Oh, you're gonna go to war," and I'm like, well, I didn't care, because that was the biggest thing people were talking. Because then there was still, war going on in Iraq, Afghanistan, and everybody's saying it. But me, I just wanted my citizenship, so I didn't think about it too much. So people were saying those stuff like, "You're gonna go to war, you're gonna do this." There was nothing for me to expect. I have no expectation, because I was so focused on, okay, get my citizenship, and there is jokes, there are some army jokes who run. People say, "Well, all I wanted to do is to go to college." But look at you now, they say join the army, you go to school. Now you're stuck somewhere in a cold place, or, places. So people joke about that. So I never take time to think about what the army was, or what would the army be. But now, growing up in Togo, I know what the army is, and, I know the perception we have of the army. But here is totally different. It is a career. It is a profession where you can, actually do stuff with your life. Like you can move on, you can move up, you can do different things. So I would say I'm pleasantly surprised about all the opportunity that is in the army, because I just didn't know that some stuff like that existed. Now, let's be honest, there are risks being in the army. There are people who get injured in training, people who, can go overseas and not come home. Those are serious things to consider when you're thinking about it. But to be honest, I personally didn't think to all that. I just wanted to get citizenship and go to school and
Right. I mean, for me, it's different because I have you. So I've kind of
it's not like I went in without knowing nothing. So you give me information, and I watched few YouTube videos too. So I kind of have a little bit idea, at least what I'm getting myself to. Well, maybe 1%, but at the same time. So obviously my experience from yours is different, but still good.
And let me tell you the truth to that. Like, my goal was to just get you out of the house. I just want you to leave. Like, come on, go do something. Just go. Just leave my basement. Just go. Get out of my basement. So
was
that's
comfortable. It was comfortable,
yeah, I
man.
know you were comfortable. I say, is this girl is going to ever leave my house if I don't do something about it? So
Yeah,
that's what I keep motivating you. I say, you know what, just go. Like, go try the army. You love it. And
I
thank God you like it.
couldn't even living down there. I couldn't even tell whether it's like day or night.
I know
But
because every time I come, the light is off, you sleeping, and it's dark there. I was like, Jesus, like this girl's gonna get out. So I was a little bit anxious, and I think on the serious note is one of the challenges of every parent is to see their child do something with their lives, something constructive or something positive, right? So is the biggest fear that any parent, I'm not sure, but I'm at least over 50% sure that every parent, you want to see your child do something with their life. So some kid, they growing up, they finish high school, they want to do this, they want to do that, and then they go off and do it. Some people don't know, they struggle a little bit and trying to find out. Everybody have a different approach of life. So, but the most thing every parent want is your child to get some interest in something and do. So for me, my fear is you are my firstborn. So um, I have to get it right. I have to do, I have to get it right at least. And then I need to make sure that you are doing something constructive with your life because now I'm proud like what you becoming, what you're doing, because wow, look at her now. Like I don't have to worry about it because even if you are doing well and your kids are not okay and they are making poor decisions, I mean, you will be concerned. Like you're gonna have in your heart, like, man, I wish my son, my daughter would be doing something positive with their life. So I'm grateful that you kind of latched onto it because it was no guarantee that it's gonna happen. But I'm very happy that it happened the way it did, and I'm just thankful.
okay,
Now
that's
look at you
good.
now. That's okay. What about
I was
you?
so comfortable. I didn't want to move. Like,
Well, catch you out.
yeah. We're gonna move on to the third question. So, describe a difficult work situations or project that you overcame.
So I'll just give my current assignment, what I did. My current assignment involved, it's not a hard job. My assignment is not a hard job, but the challenging is to make sure that you following and then you meeting the expectation. And sometimes the information you tracking might not be information somebody's tracking. And sometimes you can try to communicate, but sometimes if the person didn't write down what you're trying to say or the right information, sometimes when you come to execution time, that's where everybody's going to see like you didn't do your job well. So um, everybody have a different approach of doing it. Me, as you know me, like I take notes, like I write everything down every time. You know me for a long time, and I hope you get that virus. Like I just write everything down. I have so many stuff that because I just don't want to rely on that. Say, hey, I'm gonna remember and then forget. So the most difficult thing will be a coordination, for instance, with a team or someone who you have to do something for, and then they will pick it up. So you're expecting that, okay, the information I'm going to give this person will go on and do it. And if it doesn't happen that way, that's your failure, or however you want to put the blame. But um, I don't want to go to detail. However, like, yeah, I have a situation where I was trying to convey somebody to some information to some person to do certain thing. But at the end, I find out that the person was doing something completely different, which is like a reflection on me because I feel like I didn't communicate well. And meanwhile, at the same time, did the person actually pay attention to what I was trying to say? That they didn't put it down. So it's like, okay, are we gonna play a blame game? But my job failure is if the people who I'm supposed to coordinate with can now get the right information to do what is asked for. thankfully, I have teammates who are amazing. Like they, even if it's late, they will find a way to make sure, the project is back on track and they can do it. And then my boss is very comprehensive person. He will try to help you to solve the problem so you don't feel like, oh yeah, I just completely failed. So the difficult is to communicate the right information to the right people so they can do the job when the time being. Because I go to all this planning event for like 6 months, right? And then the team have 2 months or 3 months to execute. So if I give them raw information, then that means the execution is gonna fail. So that makes me a little bit anxious that, okay, I need to make sure that they have this. So sometimes, so that's the difficult part of it, like make sure that the right information, because if you go to all this meeting, there is something in it for you. You have to write this thing down. You have to make sure, because it's a big meeting, everybody come and everybody talk, that you have to go back and see which one is your piece, because it's like a big piece of you take, and then you go to your team and then, okay, this is what they're expecting from us. And then this is what you're going to do. And if you don't do it, when it comes show time, it's going to become obvious. They're going to be looking for your job. So that's my difficult challenge, but so far so good.
Yeah. So from what I've seen so far is that, like, you being a leader, being a leadership position, sometimes like you want your team to do certain tasks, but sometimes they do completely the opposite of what you ask them to do. So, and I've seen, like, instead of the leadership communicating with the teams, like, hey, this is how we're gonna fix it, do this, but the leadership or the leader actually like end up doing the task because his team was unable to do the job the way he wants it. So I think communication is a big key of like making things better and make sure that we progress as a team.
So, yeah. And I mean you said it, communication. Like if you are a supplier, you have to make sure certain things go certain time, certain way.
Yeah.
You can't fail that. And if you fail pass that information, guess what? People somewhere gonna feel that because you didn't do your job. So it's a big chain that we're all working on as a part of. So we need to always make sure that we carry the information to the next person and make sure and sometimes it's not the easiest thing, but
So obviously, like, working with people, the environment that you're in, sometimes like good and bad. So how would you like handle stress and pressure coming from your work or your co-workers or people that are under you? So how do you handle, how do you deal with those things?
So I handle pressure, I think, okay. I'm not an explosive person. Like it's kind of rare to see me explode. Like, oh yeah, like really, really pissed off. I'm like I can absorb a lot, and I think it goes to everybody's personal character too. Like the temperament. Some people are very hard-headed. Like as soon as that thing is there, me, I'm like, okay, we're gonna find a solution. I'm always like that. I don't know, but even way before I joined the army, I have this extensive way of just absorbing whatever is happening. And I mean, and you see me close. You know me from personal life. Like I can take in a lot before it get to that boiling point. So the way I handle pressure is I try to find a solution immediately. Like if the thing is not right, because I don't like to just dwell in the, like something happened and there's no solution. I don't like to dwell in it because I know, well, nothing is going to get solved if you just keep talking about what went wrong. So to use the pressure, I immediately go to the, like, how can we fix this? Like, and then I'm going to complain later or I will say stuff later, but I want to see how can we fix it? Like, it is my motivation immediately. So once I find a doable solution, if it's not a proper solution, for me already that's a way to relieve pressure because well, at least something is in the work, like something is in the work. It's better than nothing. So I always go to that. So that's the way I handle my pressure. Like as soon as the situation is there, I want to find what is the alternative. Like what is the alternative? What can we do? What can we do? And then that internal question drives me to be okay, maybe we can do this, maybe we can do that. And then, maybe 2 out of 3, you will find some kind of beginning of solution. So it kind of relieve pressure, because it's like if a pressure builds up and in the bottle that is closed, it's going to blow up. But if you can just twist the bottle a little bit so the water can be sipping around, then, well, the pressure will come down, at least for now. And then you forget the rest. So I try to apply that personally at any time. Like, the situation is there, I immediately go to what can I do? What can we do? What can we do? And then I'll be bouncing around trying to figure out. And so that's the way I deal with pressure. And then after, well, some people say you go for a run. I don't usually do that all the time. I mean, I don't want to sound cliche, like, and sometimes I just have to go talk about something else, like just move on from there. I'm just gonna move on from there. And I do that very effectively. So I can just, once I'm done with the situation there, I can unplug and then go talk about something else. I usually don't take what happened at work, take it home and talk about it at all. So it's like, well, I unplug from it and then I go about my business until tomorrow we go back. So that's the way I try to manage it, because I just know if something happened at work, you bring it home, you talk about it, and it's like you are in that cycle and then you just keep working yourself up, and sometimes it's not worth it. So you just have to find a technique. So like I said, I don't go for a run, I don't go for yoga, I don't do meditation. It's just like, well, it's happening. What can I do? If I can find a little bit of solution, I always say, okay, well, tomorrow's gonna be better anyway. And then that's it. That's the way I deal with it. I guess we relate again to everybody: temperament, personality, your expertise, your experiences, what you see in life. I've been in situations in life where I have no option than to just sit there and wait. Like, I have no choice. I can't do anything. So it kind of make me this mellow person. Because sometimes I just sit there because that's what I have to do. I have no other choice. So anyway, that's how I deal with pressure, and hopefully it's working so far. How about you? How do you handle pressure?
I think I kind of got that from you too. Like, sometimes stuff happen, no big deal, but like you stressing over it and stuff like that, it's not going to help the situation also. So like you say, find a solution. What can we do? And also, instead of playing the blaming game, or who did it, who caused this. So I think, like, I don't go for running down. I don't. I'll just like, I don't know, just like take a deep breath. It's going to be okay. Think about it, and at the same time, I think like nothing. It's not going to last forever. Just like a temporary thing. With time will go away. So I take all that into consideration, and I don't get angry like easily, or to the point that, oh, I'm under pressure. And if needed, it's okay to ask for help also. So yeah, pretty much. And Army kind of, I think it taught you too. I'm already patient, but Army, going through everything, Army kind of made me more patient. So at the same time, I think so far has been working. So it's like,
There's this thing in the Army called hurry up and wait.
Yes.
Wake up 3 in the morning. Yeah. You wake up 3 in the morning to be in the formation, and then you wait in line until 7.
Just wait. Whether cold, raining, nah, just wait. No questions asked. I think some people handle those things well, some people don't. But hey, like you say, it goes with our personality and stuff like that. Things be happening at home, people would take it home. I mean at work, it's separate work from your personal life and stuff like that. And it's okay. I'm not saying don't talk about it. Like, at least find a person at home that you trust. Say, hey, I've been pressured at work, stuff like that. It's okay to talk about it, but don't let what happened, bad things at work, take it home and take it on people, stuff like that. Just learn how to handle your
another thing on that is, if you have a circle of friend or a friend that, like, for instance, you tell that person this is what happened at work, and then the person immediately go like, how dare that person can do that, and then it work you up, and then it work you up, because maybe you're just trying to talk and then calm down, But the person, sometimes people don't know how to listen when somebody's telling them something about work. And then they'll be like, oh, I can't believe they say that. I can't believe. So they kind of rile you up. Like you, instead of calming down, you get even more mad as you talk about it, because your friend's like, I can't believe they say that, or they did, or something. I can't believe this happened. So sometimes you just be like, yeah, it doesn't matter, whatever. Just do something that will calm down, and then tomorrow will be another day.
I think it's a good way to handle the situation. Stuff like, and know people who you talk to also. But yeah. Okay. So next question. So why did you leave the Pentagon? Man, like you already said, you were on assignment, but at the same time, I don't know if y'all want to leave and just temporarily. But what made you make that decision?
So I was at the Pentagon since July 2017. So like I said, I'm a database engineer there. I work for, IT department there. And at one point, I got burned out. It's like, yes, I know. It's exciting at first. It's a part of human. It's exciting at first, and then I go there, and then doing the same thing over and over and over. At one point, I was like, let me put on my civil affairs officer hat and go do civil affairs, and which it's been amazing. I love it. Like since I hit the ground here, like I've been so many places, do so many things that is completely different than what I was doing at the Pentagon. So for me, it's a nice break, but I will go back. It's not like I left. That's one thing about, like I said, as a reservist, if you have a really cool job, you can leave your job, and by law, they have to guarantee you your job back when you go back. So that's why, my job is pretty much there. And I go back there, they will just find another position, putting me there, and my company is still there. My company, it's a good company who work for defense contractor. So it's like, okay, you left. I say, you just say, hey, I'm on orders, active duty orders for X amount of years, or this, and you give them notice, and they'll be like, okay, go in peace to your active duty time, because they know that as a reservist or National Guard, you will be called to go serve on active duty. So they know that, and they expect that. So I just told them, hey, I have this assignment that I need to go do. They just say, okay, when you come back, we're gonna get your job back. So I'm grateful for that. And again, one of the reasons why I say reserve and is the best kept secret, because I can do this assignment for 2 years or more, because there are always opportunity there. And then I can do 4 years, and then I can still go back, and my civilian job will be there, and then I can just go back. And so the Pentagon, I'm going to go back eventually once I'm done with my.
That's good. That's good. It's a good experience to have too. Like, even though you're still doing your job, there are other stuff that you also doing on the side. Like, you won't be bored, so at least you switching things up. So it's interesting. It's interesting.
And that is one reason why I encourage, for some people will go on active duty and just love it. They want to do 20 years and retire. Some people will go with there, be like, you know what, it's too much for me. I can only do part-time. It's okay. Right. After you finish your first contract, find a reserve unit, right? Move to reserve, and then build up your civilian career. And when you feel like you want to go on active duty, there is so many active duty positions you can just say. And even, you can come off active duty, go to the civilian life. If you don't like it, you can go back on active duty. So it is flexible. So it's not like, oh yeah, you can only, do this and that, but you can go back at it. So if you want to maintain the Army career, have part-time, and have a good civilian life, you can do that. So I know some people hate PCS and moving from duty station to station. Some people hate it. Some people love it. They have no issue with it. So if you don't like it that much, but you still want to wear the uniform and do stuff, time to time, different from your day-to-day job, I think reserve is a great career. You can be in the reserve, do your civilian job, and when you feel like you want to go, you just go and serve your time and then come back. So for all the people who don't like active duty life, but you still like the military, reserve is there for you to experience. So you can be doing 2 days or 6 months or 2 weeks, in and out. But again, the key is to have a good civilian career, because once you come off active duty, the Army no longer pay your bills.
Yeah.
Then you have to feed yourself, clothe yourself, take care of your family, do everything. So you have to make sure that you do the financial calculation first and check out that, okay, I'm okay, I can live in the civilian world, and then do this way.
So let's go. We're gonna go into the next question. So, what kind of goals you had in mind when choosing this job? Did you meet them, or is still they were still work in progress?
So I think I made a video a couple of months ago, and I talk about civil affairs. Civil affairs is you know, one for me, it's one of the great, you know, again, Army MOS or branch that are out there for people who love to speak foreign language, people who have second language, people who want to meet other culture, people who want to travel, people who want to go do stuff with the different countries, who are involved in like, okay, civil military things. For me, that's civil affair. So I know civil affair since 2012. So yeah, and also, so that's the reason why, like, I even when I became officer, I came back to civil affairs because I like it much, and this is what I'm doing. It allowed me to go to places, meet people, you know, especially here in, you know, like we work in Africa, we work with many African partners, which is excellent. So which I like. I can leverage my cultural background. I can leverage my French language. I can do many stuff, and it's not like a regular army, like, you know, like you guys wake up every day. So when I find out about civil affairs and I read about it, I like it, and it meet and exceed all my expectations. So I get paid because I speak French. I get paid extra money for French, right? Because I'm a civil affairs officer. So if you are MOS with the language coded in your MOS, you get paid for that language. So I get paid for French, which is, you know, nice, because French is, I already speak French. It's my you know, main language, but I get paid for that. So yes, this career field, I chose it because of everything I read about it. It's for civil affairs. For officer, it's 38 Alpha. For enlisted, it's 38 Bravo. So if you're on active duty, civil affairs, you have to go through selection to get selected. If you're on the reserve side, it's just as simple as a reclass, you go to school and then become, you know, civil affairs specialist or officer. So it's a great career, and I encourage, especially if you speak French, right? If you speak Yoruba, if you speak Hausa, if you speak Igbo, if you speak Wolof, if you speak, yes, I mean, if you speak Italian, if you speak all these languages, if you speak all these languages, and you can get paid after you take a test and become civil affairs. You can get paid if you speak Arabic, if you speak Mandarin, right? All this is the like language that civil affairs will take you and pay you for that, because it's part of your job. It's part of things you do, and you can become specialized in one region. Like people are African expert, people are Pacific, Pacific experts, Southcom, you know, like Latin America. So all this area, people who speak Spanish, they get paid for that. If you're a civil affairs person, so this branch exceed my expectation, because it's exactly, you know, what I was looking for. I like to talk to people. I like to, you know, experience different things. I like to be able to see the other aspect, you know, of Army, which is like how the relationship between the Army and civilian works. And so I work in this field to see how civilian interfere with the Army, or how to make that relationship better. That's my job, basically. So civil affairs is that liaison between the civilian population and the Army. So for instance, I give you another example. As a civil affair, if either officer or NCO is a civil affair, your job is, if you go to any places they assign you to a commander, your job is to make sure that you know the civilian leadership that is in a village or town, place you go, talk to them, see what the concern they have, and come to your commander and say, hey, sir, I talked to the civilian in this area. This is the sum of the concern. If you can help them with this, you can help the security situation better in this region. This is what they do. Like, it's something that you constantly in touch with NGO, non-government organization, non-profit organization. Like, you always constantly that peaceful working in between everybody. So sometimes as a civil affair, you go to mission, you don't even wear your uniform. You wear civilian because you go to a different meeting. You can meet with the defense attaché. You can meet with Minister of Defense people. Like it's very, very rewarding, especially for people who love to travel abroad to do something different in the culture. So again, I'm not a recruiter for civil affairs, but hey, I can tell you.
You sound like it's a good way to promote your MOS.
It is a great MOS. And if you have language, you get paid. Or if you want to go to language school, they pay you to go to language school to go learn a new language. I don't know any other job in the army, maybe linguists who do that. Linguists and maybe intel people, but civil affairs. If you are active duty, again, you have to go to selection and look at Fort Bragg. They are there. If you're gonna do reserve side, it's already there. Just look for one unit and then reclass and make it.
Yeah. Even just the other day, literally yesterday, the day before that, one of the guys, I wasn't even part of the conversation. I was just waiting for something. And he was like, man, civil affairs is one of the best jobs out there. I was like, I didn't say anything. I just kind of laughed to myself. I was like, okay.
It's right. And it's right. So yeah, I mean, for you, I don't know. I know you have some plan, but hey, if I can get you over the civil affair later on, you will love it. It's so much to do, either on enlisted side, officer side. It's so much to do, and I'm seeing it. And I encourage everybody who speak 2 languages or more than 2 languages, and to go try it out and see if they like it or
not. That's good to know. So next question is, have you ever been on a team where someone was not pulling their own weight? Like, how did you handle that?
Simply just to tell them to do their job.
I mean, yeah, that's what.
Okay, that's not much to say. You just say, hey, come on, man, do the job. Like, just make it life easy on everybody here. Just do something. Make a phone call, talk to somebody.
Simple.
I mean, it happened. Just tell them, do the job. But sometimes people don't do the job because they're having some personal issue. So even if you have to find out too, either it's your buddy or your leadership. Some people just don't stop working for no reason, or people just don't fail. There are always something behind. So sometimes you dig a little deeper, so like, hey, are you okay? Is everything okay at home? Sometimes people, when they start struggling personally, kind of bleed into their work. Because I'm sure that everybody who joined the army has something, like, you joined the army to do something. So if something is failing, it's on you. Is that you are a battle buddy to the person, or you are in the leadership, to just find out, okay, what's going on? So if you're in leadership, like, okay, this soldier used to be happy and go lucky, then now she or he just starts lacking, is not performing. What's wrong? So sometimes it could be home problem, it could be personal issue, or sometimes it could be just laziness. And then you have to know that and know how to approach it. So I believe that anyone who joined the army know that they have to do something. They're not lazy, but sometimes situation or event happen and then kind of bleed into the work. Find that out, see what you can do to help. And sometimes the best soldier who starts lacking, you can bring them back up again and because again, if army is a volunteer, it's nobody force anybody to be in the army. It's a volunteer force. So yeah, you gotta do something. So yeah, most of the time it's just sometimes some issue happen and then it's
that's good.
So keep that in mind. If you see a friend, performing before and then stop, don't just be like, oh, he or she's lazy. So sometimes don't get that instance, oh, that person's just lazy. Sometimes it's more than that. So just try to see.
Don't assume.
Don't assume just because the person is lazy. And then once you can do that, then you'll be at least you try to help the person and then find out what
check upon them, stuff like that. Yeah, check on your battle buddies, man. So next question, what is your greatest failure and what did you learn from it?
Greatest failure. Well, what can I say? My greatest failure, and this could sound as a revelation, but you already know, is the collapse of our family. Yeah, that's my greatest failure. And yeah, I I pursue so many things, wanted to do so many things to the point where um our family collapsed back in 2017, 18. And you know that. And
Yeah.
since then I've been trying to rebuild, but it's not always the same. And but professionally, I'm okay. Like I you know, I do what I have to do. But
Right.
the greater failure is so far the collapse of the family and being able to live with that, you know. So I'll just leave it at that. What do I do to fix that? I'm still struggling with it, you know, trying to rebuild, trying to see a better days ahead, trying to be positive, trying to do the best, and you know, to be in touch. And but it's not easy.
It's yeah.
You know, as you know, you win certain side and you lose certain side, and sometimes what you lose is bigger than anything you can ever like. There is no comparison what it is. So yeah, my greatest fear is seeing my family collapse back in 2017, 18. But we're still here for another try. We'll see what happens next.
And yeah, and I always believe that like things happen for a reason. Like nobody really understand God's ways, like how things you would think you plan out your life perfectly. In the next 2 seconds, it can drastically just change completely without you understanding why or why you know, your question is like why me? And at the time you might not understand it, but later on, maybe years later, then I'm like, oh, so this is why it happened.
And
So,
you are correct, because so far I still don't understand why. And I know that I have my part of responsibility in it. But at the same time, I'm like, still why? And I know it affected you also greatly. But we have to move. We have to keep moving. That's the essence of life. We have to keep moving. We can't just abandon everything and then be like, okay, well, this is it. So we have to keep moving, and hopefully, it makes sense in the future. And that's my hope. That I hope that one day it makes sense. Because so far I'm still, you know, trying to just like, you know, put things together and then keep moving. So yeah. That's the big one. And I don't think I ever admitted anywhere else before. But yeah, it's like you fight so hard to get things and then you look back, it's like, oh shit, you know, things happen, and what do you do from there? And you gotta stay as strong as you can, and you gotta keep going, because it's like a bicycle, right? You gotta keep pedaling, otherwise you're gonna just fall. So you gotta, to keep your balance, you gotta keep pedaling like it's a bicycle. You can't just sit on a bicycle. You have to push one another. So that's those things. And then thank God we all still alive, and we'll see what the future holds, and then go from there.
Life things happen.
I'm sure you didn't expect that one.
No, I was like, oh, okay, let's not get emotional now. We don't do emotions.
We don't do emotion this house.
We don't do emotions.
Oh, trust me.
Who I got it from. I don't do emotions.
No, but let me tell you.
I'm working on it.
But yes, but let me tell you this. Now I know it is okay to express emotion. It's one of the healthiest things you can do, to express emotion. If you feel anger, say, I feel this anger. If you feel disappointment, say, I feel this disappointment, and then let it go. And it's always key to what you do next. Because I think it's a false belief that, oh, you don't show emotion, you don't show emotion, like you gotta be tough, you gotta be tough. Sometimes it's okay to cry and then let it wash off you. Like if it hurt you, let it hurt you. If it pain you, let it pain you. But don't stay there. The key is to come after that, and don't get in the cycle of, you know, depression, emotion, depression. No, but you feel your pain, you let the pain through you, and then after that you move on. Like you have to move on, but you have to feel the pain. So yeah, I used to believe that too, like, oh, you don't show emotion, but now I reverse course. I say, you know what, let it pain me, please. No. Because
It's okay,
that's the only way you can heal. And I'm
right.
finding that out now as I'm getting older. Say, hey, it's okay. It's okay to express how you feel. And even to the people you love, it's okay to tell them, I'm mad at you for what you did. It
Right.
doesn't mean that I don't love you. It doesn't mean that I don't care for you, but I'm mad about what you did. Your action is separate from the person. Your action is not you, right?
Right.
Sometimes you intend to do good things, but you end up doing bad stuff. And if you are a Christian, you can read through the Bible now that I always say, like, I want to do this, but my will, like there are stuff like that. And sometimes even I think somewhere they say, God say, I love you, but I hate your sins, right? So God can separate that. Like, I love you. We're going to the church now. He's going to Bible mode. But it is the truth that a person that you love or you care for will do something that you disagree with, that you disapprove of. But you have to find a way to express that and separate that from the person and then move on. Because relationships, either family, personal, all that are messy, they are not always clean cut, straightforward, good. No, it's always mixed with that. But the biggest thing is to be able to put all that together and remain together as a family, as a unit, and as all that, regardless of how emotion comes and things that you feel. So it's okay to feel. To say to somebody, I disagree with you. Like, you are my best friend, but I don't like what you are doing. That doesn't not mean that I'm not going to talk to you. I will be mad at you for 2 hours, but we're going to go back and talk. But we're going to put that behind. Yes, but you have to make sure that you communicate. Otherwise, it would be like, if you are like you and I, one thing happened, you mark it down. Second thing, you mark it down. Third thing, you be like, 3 strike you out. Like, but you can't keep him outing everybody in your life. You can't keep you know what I'm saying? At one point, you're gonna become alone, like, because there's not gonna be nobody around you to out. So you still have to be able to express that, but inside a love bubble. Like, you know what? This is the bubble, and nothing will pierce this bubble, nothing will burst this bubble. Like, whatever happens is gonna be in this bubble, and we're still gonna talk. Even though I disagree with you, we can still talk. And that's what convinced me now that it's okay to say, Sarah, you know what you did, I'm not pleased with it. But it doesn't mean that I love you less. No, it doesn't change that. That love lane is going to be there forever and ever. But you do something that I disagree with. And if you say that, the person should have the maturity to say that, okay, I'm sorry. Or sometimes they might argue a couple of points, be like, okay, got it. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's move on past that. I didn't mean to do this. I didn't mean to do that, but I moved on to that. So as you coming up, going again, I'm telling you, if you learn from me, again, it's okay to feel emotion, to express them, but don't stay there.
Yeah.
Move past on it. Get on the next thing. And then, can make it better.
You too. So, you kind of explained this one a little bit, but actually you said a lot about it. Like, what advice do you have for people who want to do your MOS, like civil affairs? So
again, if you want to do civil affairs, if you're on active duty, you have to go to selection. You got to put a package together and go to selection. And people can either email, just Google it. Even if you Google it, you can find it. Some active duty recruiter for civil affairs. Talk to the recruiter and say, what do I need, right? There is package put together, and then you go to selection. If you make it selection, then you go to civil affairs qualification course, and then you go to language school and you become civil affairs. So that's how we work in active duty. On the reserve side, all you need to do is to find a reserve unit, civil affairs reserve unit. Go contact them or go there. See if there is always personnel on reserve site. There is full-time personnel. Or find out where they have drills. Just go there and be like, hey, I want to be civil affairs. What do I do? Usually they will just transfer you to the unit and send you to school, and then send you to language. So depending where you are, there are reserve units all over throughout US. So just find one, and then, so it is a great advice for people who like to talk, people who like to interact with the foreign culture, people who like to, go different places, do cool stuff, interact with the civilian, like just be like, I don't want to abuse this term, but like army diplomat, like you are not a diplomat, but you get a sense of like being in between the military and the civilian and see what you can do to help a community. So if you care about those things, there is a program, this program in the army help you, go over those skills where you can, even like during civil affairs courses, you learn technique about negotiation, like how to negotiate, how to do, like there are so many things they teach you in this field that I think is beneficial. So if you want a reserve side, it's easy. Just go find a reserve unit. Active duty, you have to go to selection package.
Why they gotta be extra with active duties, man?
Well, they're special there, so yeah.
Yeah. So, last question, and I will also always ask this question. What do you have to say for people who are interested in joining the army or military? No, more army, I would say, because you're in it. So like what do you want to say to them and stuff like that?
So the army might not be for everybody, and I know that because sometimes people have health issues. Sometimes people have different stuff that they can't join. But if you are a young person, right, and you don't know what you want to do with your life, you live in the United States of America, you have just a green card or even citizen, and you don't know what to do, right? At least join the army for the first 3 years. They will teach you discipline. They will, you will get to travel different places. You get to see different things. And then if you don't like it, come back home. And then after the first 3 years, you're going to earn GI Bill where you can go to school for free, where you can earn, your VA loan certificate that you can use to buy a home. You can qualify for medical benefits. So there is stuff for it if you can, right? Also, if you know you want to travel the world, at the beginning, it's not so obvious because if you're a PFC, especially, what do you know? You don't know anything. So you have to spend your time in units where you learn stuff. But as you progress through your career, you become sergeant, staff sergeant, sergeant first class, master sergeant. You're going to have great opportunity to do different things. Same as an officer. If you start off as a second lieutenant, you're not gonna be, you're gonna do small responsibility. And then as a time goes by, once you make a captain, a major, and all that, you're gonna find staff job position that you can go to different places. So if you are watching this and you are interested in it, and just go talk to the recruiter. Just try it, right? Try it. Now, that goes without saying that, yes, the army is a risky business, but what is not risky in this life? Like, you can wake up and then something will happen to you in your own bedroom. So I say, go out there, try your best. Army is a great way to live a life, a decent life. You don't have to beg. Uncle Sam pay you just enough for you to come back next day to work. Like, they're going to pay you a little bit, not much, so you can come back to work. But if you don't have a stability in family, on your finances, at least join the army. You're not going to get rich, but you can pay your bills. And if you manage your money well, you can put yourself in a good side. You can go to school. You can take the classes. It's not easy. What I'm saying is it's not easy. You can take classes while you still work, but you can make progress in your life. But if everything is in your life is okay, but still you want to feel the fiber of being patriot, you want to serve your country, come join the army too. The army will take you to. So it is a place for everybody. Either you high, low, whatever, the army will give you something. Now, if you want to serve, but you cannot serve, may God bless you. Just pray for the people who are doing it. But if you can, please come and discover the army. Try something new. Worst thing is you do 3 years and you don't like it and you're out. And you be like, you know what, bye, I'm gonna go do something else. And you always remember this time. But if it's for you, you can come in, stay in, do your 20 years or whatever year you decide, and go from there. Army opens up a lot of doors for you, right? It opened a lot of doors for you, and we cannot say them all here, but it opened a lot of doors. If you just come and try it and you like, you stay, I think you can make a living out of that, and hopefully it is something that you will enjoy also. So that's all I got to say.
Yeah, I mean, sounds about right. You said everything, give it a try. If it doesn't work out, oh well. Like you already say, it's not for everybody, but at least try and see how it goes. So this concludes today's question/conversation, father and daughter series, episode 2. Before we end it, sir, do you have anything to say? No, wait, I was like, if we happen to be on the same base, right? And we're both in uniform, and I saw you, I was like, do you have to salute him?
Yes.
I know.
At that point, I'm no longer your father.
I know. Money, sir.
Yeah, exactly. Then you have to salute me. What do you mean? You have to salute. Custom and courtesy, you have to do that. You can't just walk by me and be like, "Oh, hi, Dad." No, that's not what hi, Dad.
Well, who's your father? But I know. The right thing to do.
But before we go, like, so you still enjoying your activity time there in Alaska and liking it?
Yeah. I don't have a choice, okay? You either like it or you don't. But if I don't like it, my staying here is gonna be terrible, and I won't have good memories. So I made peace with Alaska. We had a talk. It's like, hey man, he said Alaska said I'm cold, but like there's nothing that can be changed. So I was like, okay, I just we had everybody has to compromise, I guess. But besides the cold, like I don't tell myself it's cold anymore, even though it's cold. I'm like, it's all mental. Don't think about it. So I still going on by my days. Yeah, it's cold outside. So I'm like, okay, so it's cold outside. Now what? Because it's cold, you're not going to do anything. Because that's what I used to do before. Like when it's cold, I would not go outside. Even the weekend, I just stay in my room, and I realized that like it's a terrible. People pay money to come to Alaska, and I'm here for free. I was like, but I would say I'm used to it now. I'm not used to the cold, but I still do what I need to do to be comfortable. So I would say it's not bad. So
I think that's the mindset, and you are going about it the right way because you're already there and the time is passing by. So while you are there, do something that will benefit you. So when you go to your next place, you'll be different. And who can imagine you coming from Togo and then go to this freezing temperature for years now? So it is a unique experience that you will never forget in your life. So those are the stuff that, the Army will put you place. You might come to Vicenza, Italy on your next assignment if you still stay with, in supply, because you are airborne, and then either airborne people, you have, like you follow certain, exactly, it's a different unit. So you might come here to Italy to your next duty, which is like you're gonna just like, oh my God, like from Alaska to Italy now, I can travel all 20 something country in Europe. I can do that. So that's the Army for you. So someone said, if you don't like it, just wait 3 years. You'll be out of there anyway.
It's temporary. It's not like I'm gonna stay here forever, right?
Forever.
I get to say, man, I've been in Alaska. Man, it's freezing cold. Like, yeah. So okay, it's cold. Like, brag about it. I've seen bear, I've seen moose. Like, it's a normal thing here. So, there's a lot of fun things to do, like whether outdoor or indoor. I did snowmobile, I did skiing, even though I don't know how to, but it's about the experience. Ice fishing, who would have thought? So it's a lot of things here, but you gotta go out there yourself, try to find them. They'll just be I don't know what to do, but try to find something to do to enjoy your time in here. But other than that, that's it.
All right. Well, I'm proud of you for the decision you make and keep making. And like I said, every parent worry about that, and I'm grateful that you are doing what you're doing. Stay safe out there, and then until next episode. And again, this is Captain Komi Afetse, all the way from Vicenza, Italy, and Sarah from Alaska.
Specialist.
Especially Afetse from Alaska, right? All right. Well, um, until next time, take care, and thanks to all the viewers, and leave comments below so we can answer. If you have any other questions, you have comment, or you want us to discuss some topic, please let us know. I say at the episode 1 that this is kind of a unique opportunity for me to be serving along with my daughter. So I'm grateful for this experience. I know it's not going to be forever, but hey, while we at it, we enjoying it, and then go from there. So if you have a question, comment, just leave it. And again, thanks you guys for watching.